Hi everyone, Hilary Marshall here with Remax Newport Fitzpatrick team, your homes with Hill. And I am here today with Shannon Brito and just want to talk to her a little bit about her staging business and how we kind of collaborate, not only with me helping my clients sell and buy their homes, but her kind of helping with the final push of beautiful staging. Mm-hmm. And we have a mutual client. She's done a couple properties with my sellers, and we've been very pleased to the point where people come through the open houses and ask if the furniture is for sale, or, they question if someone's ever, this is people's actual furniture. And I'm like, nope, it's just staged. So I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about what you do and how you kind of help us, too, at the end of the day, sell a beautiful property.
Great. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. So I've been staging since 2011. So I've done almost 1,000 houses. So
wow.
Yeah. So as you've seen with our work, basically what we try to do is we want buyers to walk in the door and fall in love with the property.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's all about. If you think about, people buying a house, it's a real psychological process. Mm-hmm. So we're really just trying to get that buyer to connect with the property and feel a certain something when they walk in the door.
Yeah.
So that's what we've always gone for. And it's interesting with both the properties that we've done with you, they were great properties. They did a great renovation. They really did a nice job with the design finishes.
My God.
So those were fun properties to do. And we really made sure that the staging kind of accentuated the touches that they had done in those properties.
So that brings me to my question for you is, do you stage the property to the actual house? Like, say you've got a Victorian house versus, like, I know 201 Farnham in North Smithfield that we sold, yep, versus 1096 East Main, which is a beautiful new construction property in Middletown. Those are very, beautiful homes. One's more farmhouse and one wasn't, but you kind of staged it very similar. At the same time, you definitely pulled some pieces that you didn't use in one and you did use in another.
Absolutely.
So you really it seemed catered to it. I loved the little office nook that you did in East Main. I wanted to sit there all day.
Yeah, so with each house, we have a pretty extensive inventory. I probably have enough furniture for about 100 homes.
Oh, my God.
And we generally have between 30 to 40 out at any given time, and then that many more in the warehouse. So we have a really extensive inventory, all different styles, and I absolutely will look at a house and tailor the staging to the house, to the demographic of the buyer, the finishes of the house. We definitely, in that Smithfield house, we went a little more modern farmhouse, what we like to call, and that's, we just got to go with what the seller has done in the house. So they definitely went with a kind of a farmhouse style. And then in the Middletown one, we obviously, whenever we're on the island or in more coastal areas, we like to go for sort of a coastal chic look, more textures and whites and blues and that kind of thing. So we definitely want to make sure the staging is really about accentuating the house. So we want to make sure we're taking those cues and going with them.
That's true, especially because I know that you put in more of the blues when we're on the island and less of the blues.
Exactly.
More of the greens and things like that. I mean, I absolutely loved how you definitely accentuated that farmhouse style.
Yes, yeah. And even in the Smithfield house, we had some cool, the abstract, barn painting, stuff like that. Just little touches. You don't want to go too overboard and make it too kitschy, but we just kind of like to do a subtle, nod to the style.
Yeah. So how many houses, you said you're almost at 1,000 since 2011?
Yes.
So how many houses per year do you do?
Well, it's funny because when we first started the business, that's a great question. When we first started the business in 2011, people didn't even know what staging was. Yep. I'd say I was a home stager, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" And it really took probably a good, I would say, 5 or 6 years to really get people to understand what staging was, why they needed it. And, of course, obviously HGTV and the media has helped. People are seeing it, and now sellers...
Pinterest.
Yes, exactly. So now sellers are savvy, and they know what it is. But back then, it really took a while to get the ball rolling.
Do sellers sorry to jump in,
that's
but
okay.
Do sellers actually give you, a Pinterest board sometimes, and it's like, this is what I want? Or
not so far in that direction, but they definitely have an understanding of what it should look like. We try to ask that the sellers trust our style, and we show them our portfolio for that reason, to say, hey, this is, what you might get. It's difficult, obviously, with the logistics of so many houses to really say this is exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So we try to say, trust us, we're going to take care of everything. It'll be nice and easy for you.
Wonderful.
And they're usually very happy.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I know. So our mutual client that you've done a couple for as well, she is constantly raving about how well you work and
that's
how
excellent.
easy. And honestly, every time you drop a piece of furniture in, she's like, it looks so good. And I totally agree with her. Buyers come in and it just makes it a lot easier because right now it's vacant. And I walked through and
makes
it's
such a difference.
It doesn't look the same because right before, like we did the final walkthrough this morning and I'm like, oh
You're
my
like,
God,
oh.
it looks so weird.
Aw.
I also don't think I could have sold it as easily without furniture in there because there was this big island, the beautiful with a waterfall countertop.
Oh, yeah.
And there was probably 6 or so chairs.
Yep.
And just as simple as that, you know, it really kind of complemented the whole space. Like having where the dining table is, people questioned like, oh, well, where can I put this? Where can I put that? You really completed the whole property.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that with everything being open concept lately,
Yeah.
buyers love it and they want it, but then they see it and they don't know what to do with it. So I think the
Exactly.
staging is really important in that aspect.
100%.
But I always tell people when you see a vacant space and then you see it staged and you
Yeah.
see the two, compared to each other, it makes such a huge difference. I really, with a vacant space, it really is such a necessary marketing tool.
I can't believe you have an entire warehouse. I mean, the amount of furniture, I'm just like overwhelmed myself. You had a king bed upstairs. I'm like, where do you keep this?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Do you order a lot ahead of time in bulk and stuff?
Yeah, it's over the course of the time that we've been doing it, I've accumulated a lot, and so I'm not shopping as much. Of course, I'm always changing things out
Yep.
and keeping up with the trends and making sure our inventory is fresh and clean and modern.
Yeah.
So there's that. But it's a lot to keep up with. The warehouse
Yeah.
could be a little.
Where's
I won't
your
lie.
warehouse?
It's in Warwick.
Okay.
Right near the airport.
Okay.
So it's a
Oh.
good centrally located.
Yeah.
Because we go all over Rhode Island. So
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, as I said, like, I'm selling anywhere between the island to
Yes,
Smithfield
that's
and
right. You
everything
do
in
too.
between.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. That's a great spot. So you have a team of movers that do you work with regularly?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
I have my own. They're employees of mine,
nice.
which is
Wonderful.
nice. Yep. And they're great guys. We get lots of compliments. They're
Good.
neat and clean, and they're real careful. So
Yeah.
that's always good. And they've also been with me for quite a while. So
Wow.
they've done a lot of houses. They have a lot of experience, which is a good thing. Yeah.
So, I mean, as doing the walkthroughs today, I look around and I don't see a single nick in the walls. I don't see a single scratch. And it actually looks, I feel like, cleaner than when the stuff was there. And I say that because we were on the market for a little bit of time and obviously under contract for a while as well. So dust piles up, people come through, and I just feel like it was so clean and neat that it was better than, even
Great.
before. So.
Well, that's great to hear because I will tell them you said that because I am always on them to make sure. And
I feel like they use the Swiffer.
Yes.
Like I haven't even used the Swiffer, but I'm like, they definitely, after pulling everything around and having so many people come through the open houses, having the property sit for a little bit of time between contract and home inspection and all that kind of stuff, definitely helped for sure.
Yeah, we always want to make sure we're delivering the house exactly, if not better than we found it.
Yeah.
So,
Are you ever willing to sell some of your furniture if someone's like, oh my God, I love that. I have to have that. I don't know where to find it. And it fits so well in the space.
absolutely, everything is negotiable, as they say. So,
do you find that some people do buy some of the stuff that you have in the properties?
Yes. Yeah, we'll get inquiries about certain pieces, but I always say, let me know what they want, and I'll give a price, and
Cool.
we can go from there. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, how do you get most of your referrals? Is it from realtors or is it from homeowners?
That's a good question. I would say I have a pretty good network of investors and builders that I work with pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So, luckily we've been lucky in that sense that, we have a pretty good base of clients.
Yeah.
It's interesting, as you know, with the market being what it is, I think some people have thought that maybe they could get away without staging, and now we're kind of seeing it getting back to a place where, we have to do some more marketing and some more, we have to give ourselves a better competitive edge. So it's coming back where people are, really thinking about staging again.
I would 100% agree. There was a small gap between like right before Thanksgiving to Christmas of last year that a little bit of a standstill, but I think right now as we're getting into it's end of February almost. And I'm finding that more people are willing to pony up a little bit more money.
Absolutely.
If it is a turnkey house. Now, staging is going to 100% help that too.
Sure.
Because of the fact that, you get less personal items in there, but more things that they can see them having in that house. And that's their possible property because they can buy it from you. Or,
Definitely.
They might upgrade their own furniture.
Absolutely. Well, I always say the staging is really meant to be aspirational too.
Yeah.
You want the buyer to walk in and say, wow, I want this house and I want it to look like this when I live here. And it probably won't, but
Farnham, honestly, if you could pull Farnham, just kind of pick it up and put it on the island, I would have bought it.
Yes, that was a great house. I agree with you.
Between the house and the staging and the nooks and crannies of that property.
That was a very cool house.
It just, if you picked that up and put it on the island, it would have been a done deal.
Sold.
I would have been she did such a good job and you did as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions or anything?
I don't think so. It's always great working with you.
Yeah.
I know you're very professional as well, and you do a great job. So it's great to partner with you.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for coming and talking with us. I appreciate it. If you have any questions for Shannon, we'll put her contact information here too. And myself, Hilary Marshall with RE/MAX Fitzpatrick team, and hope to see you guys on the next podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yep.